Do you ever avoid opening your bills because you already know it's gonna hurt? If this sounds like you, you're not alone. I'm Dr. Linda Hamilton, author of Pay It in 5. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by bills, guilt, shame, or just purely frustrated with bills, then you're in for a treat, because today I'm going to show you how to go from bill anxiety to bill control in 3 easy steps. I wasn't always great with bills. I hated looking at them. I just wanted to ignore them. There was a time that they just felt endless, like it was just a constant stream of bills coming in, and I couldn't keep up. I was working full time. I had 2 small children. We had a busy family life, and I couldn't keep up with the bills. And I even had a couple of bills that I missed, completely missed them. I couldn't keep up. Like, I actually couldn't keep up. And if you've ever been behind on bills, it's the worst, because not only do you still have to pay your bill, you now have to pay your bill plus an extra fee or a fine for not paying the bill. Not paying your bills on time is also embarrassing when you feel shamed, like, how could I miss the bill? How could I miss paying that bill? I don't know about you, but I was never taught how to look after money. My husband and I didn't grow up in wealthy families. We didn't know how to manage money. We didn't have a clue. We didn't know anything. And when you haven't got a clue, you just haven't got a clue. But I was good with numbers. So I knew there was something different that we could do to make this work for us. So going through this experience of having overdue bills and then having to pay late fees, which hurts, it really hurts, and making us pay more money than we need to pay. The moment of losing control of the bills and being so overwhelmed by bills was actually a powerful lesson for me, because I realized, well, it doesn't have to be this way. I can actually do something about this. I know when the bills are coming in. I can plan for it. They're scheduled at different times. So council rates come in every 3 months, for example. Insurance is every year. What if I actually plan for it, and then I know what's coming, and then I know what I have to get ready for? I can actually take control of my bills. What if I build myself a bills forecaster so that I know what's coming in, I know when to expect bills, and there are no more surprises. Bills are not the enemy. We've all got bills. We all have to pay bills. This is when I stopped reacting to bills and started using them as planning tools. Planning tools to protect our cash flow and to understand where our money was going and when, and to overcome the feeling of dread. Dread when the bill arrives. Dread looking at your inbox because you don't want to see what's arriving and how much you owe. What I needed was a system. A way to keep on top of the bills without the stress, without the fear, without the overwhelm. And once I learned that, everything changed. People don't avoid their bills because they're lazy. They avoid them because there's a strong emotional reaction when a bill arrives, and they want to avoid that reaction. It triggers them. It triggered me. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to know about it. It was just too much. Sometimes I just didn't even see the bills coming in because I just wasn't checking in. We want to protect ourselves from that feeling of stress, guilt, shame, dread, overwhelm. And even though it's not good for us in the long term, we still want to avoid it right now. And the avoidance cycle, or procrastinating on bills, sets in. Avoiding bills or ignoring bills gives us a sense of relief, because if I don't look at it now, I don't have to feel that stress. But it actually sets us up for bigger stress, more stress later on, particularly if you're late, because when you're late, you've got extra fees. You got even more stress, and then you've got more of a burden of, oh my gosh, what have I done? Avoiding the bills doesn't make them disappear. You still have to pay the bills. Bills are not there to punish you. Maybe late fees are there to punish you, but bills in general are not there to punish you. Everyone has bills. You can use your bills to plan, to take control of your finances, to protect your future. It all begins with how we experience bills in the first place. Now, I mentioned before we had 3 simple steps to managing your bills. Let's get straight into those now. Step 1, get comfortable with your bills. Bills can feel scary, but it's not the bills that are the problem. It's It's the system. Or in my case, it was the lack of the system. Find a way to get comfortable with the bills. Bills are normal. Everyone has bills. You just need a system to get on top of it. Here's what you can do to get comfortable with your bills. Create a habit of checking in on your bills. Pick a time and day each week or fortnight, one that works for you, so that you can check in on your bills. What do you have coming up and what do you need to pay now? When you do this regularly on about the same time or day, then you just get into the habit of it. And something else you can do to get comfortable with your bills is to open them when they arrive or as soon as you can. Get comfortable with looking at them, open them, see them for what they are. They're just a bill. Don't let them linger. Step 2, forecast your bills. Now that you've started to face your bills instead of feeling stressed or overwhelmed by them, it's time to do the most important step, to forecast your bills. List out all of your bills, how often they're due and when they're due. Even though some of the bills might only arrive once a year, you can actually start planning for them and start putting money towards them every month up until that time, so that when the big bill arrives, it's not such a big surprise. You don't have to try to find the money from somewhere. It's already there. It's already worked out for you and already waiting for you to be able to use. If you're thinking, that sounds like a lot of work to list out all of my bills, don't worry, we've got you covered. I've got a bill forecaster. It's free. Our bill forecaster can work it all out for you. It's a template where you can list out all of your bills. It even lets you know how much to set aside each month for all your bills. If you'd like a copy, there's a link in the description. Step 3, automating bills. Once you know all your bills, the next step is to put it on autopilot. In the last video, you heard me talking about the bills bucket. And now's the time to implement it. Set yourself up to be able to pay your bills easily. Here's how to use it. Set up a separate bills account. Look at your bills forecaster to work out how much you need to put into your bills account. Put that money into your bills account regularly, making sure that you have enough each month to cover the bills that are coming up. Automate it so that when you earn money for your bills are automatically transferred to your bills account. Every bill that comes in, whether it's strata, council rates, water rates, utilities, you name it, every bill that comes in gets deducted from this bills account. That way you don't have any more surprises. The money is there when you're ready to pay. There's no more accidental overspending and no more, where am I going to find this money? In Australia and the UK, we can have offset accounts. We're lucky we can have multiple offset accounts. So we can have a separate bills offset account that's linked to our home loan, which means when we're getting ready to pay the bill, it's also helping us reduce our interest that we're paying on our home loan. The goal isn't to have 100 different buckets of money, but just to have enough that's right for you and what works for you. A separate bills bucket can be useful. Now you've got all of your bills organized and automated so you know what's happening with your bills when you need to pay them. We've talked about our 3 steps. Now there's 3 more additional optional steps if you want to dive deeper into your bills management. Step 4, review and optimize. Each year your bills keep quietly increasing. And I know that you've seen this before. This next step is to review your actual bills. Maybe you've got a subscription where the free trial run has ended and it just keeps ticking over, even though you don't use it. Have you got any subscriptions that you're paying month to month, but the annual bill might be cheaper than the month to month bills? Have a look at how your bills have changed over time and negotiate where you can on existing bills. Have a little deep dive into your bills and just see what's going on. Step 5, handling irregular bills. Some of our bills are regular bills, but then every now and again we're hit with something that's unexpected or irregular. These might be things that catch us off guard, like unexpected medical bills. This is where the emergency bucket that I talked about in the last video can come in handy. You could either use that or you can top up your bills bucket just slightly. Maybe add a little bit extra each month just to cover anything that might be unexpected. So for example, we've got kids and they've got activities, but every now and again there might be an unexpected excursion or activity related to this, and we have to fork out hundreds of dollars. You could even top up and give yourself just a little bit of a buffer, just to give yourself just a little bit extra in there each month when these unexpected bills come in. If you're finding that there's a lot more unexpected bills than you're expecting, then maybe your buffer needs to be a little bit higher. And on the flip side, if you're finding that there's not as many unexpected bills because you've accounted for so many of them already, then you could lower the buffer. Step number 6, set up a sinking fund. Sinking fund is not just for strata properties. You can actually have a sinking fund for anything in your life. Most people see big expenses as emergencies, but they don't have to be like that. You can actually plan for them. You can give yourself your own sinking fund. You could have it for if you're expecting a baby, or you have another one on the way, or you know that you've got school fees or daycare coming up that you want to start preparing for. If you have property, a sinking fund for your own property could actually be quite useful for when, the roof does need a repair. You could use a sinking fund for anything. Whatever expense that you know is coming up, you could use a sinking fund for that. And you don't have to have a sinking fund. It's optional. It's completely optional. It's whatever works for you. If you do decide on a sinking fund, it's useful to think of what is it for? Like, what's the purpose, and how much do you want to have in there by what time, and work out how much you need to set aside to be able to have that amount by that time. This is a bit like an emergency bucket, so you could top up your emergency bucket instead of having a separate sinking fund, whatever works for you. I'd love to know what works for you. Let me know in the comments what you do to manage your bills. If you found this helpful, get ready for our next video. Hit that subscribe button, because you've made it to the end. I have an exclusive offer for you. Each month in 2025, I'm giving away a free copy of my book, Paid in 5. If you'd like to win a copy, check the link in the description, and see you in the next one.